Ethereum looks like it's mounting a recovery after 2 weeks of dumpage, but can Ethereum build back towards the upside, or are we going to see a further dippage? In today's episode, we're going to look at the latest Ethereum news as well as Ethereum technical analysis to see exactly what's happening with Ethereum and where it's likely to go from here. Hello guys and welcome to the House of Crypto. I make videos about Ethereum as well as other cryptocurrencies, so if you're new to the channel, make sure you hit that like button as well as subscribe to be kept up to date with all of the latest happening in the markets. Without further ado then, let's jump into our first piece of news for today. Okay, so Elon Musk, despite having fairly negative things or negative impact on the market this week, is still sort of in the crypto space and still, dropping his 2 cents. And Vitalik, the founder of Ethereum, has hit back saying why Elon Musk's plans for scaling crypto 10x is fundamentally flawed. So Elon Musk is trying to push Dogecoin and trying to gain superiority for Dogecoin. And he's kind of hit back at Elon by saying ideally Dogecoin can speed up the block time by 10x, increase its block size by 10x, and drop fees by 100%. That it will win. And obviously, this is obviously not an easy thing to do, something that Ethereum have been working on extremely hard over a very long period of time with a huge team that's been very difficult for them, whereas Elon Musk is kind of saying as if, it can stroll in and make these changes. Vitalik is saying to be able to achieve a huge scalability or increased scalability without leading to extreme centralization is something that is fundamentally very difficult on the blockchain. And that's probably something that's caused most of the problems in terms of the development and the scalability of most cryptocurrencies that we have seen. $1.3 trillion crypto price crash leaked Goldman Sachs predictions and gives high chance Ethereum will eclipse Bitcoin. Okay, so obviously in the last couple of weeks we've seen Bitcoin drop, all the altcoins taking absolute pounding as well, which has come to the amount of $1.3 trillion. But, that seems like an extreme level, but actually quite a lot of that money probably arrived into cryptocurrency in the last kind of couple of months anyway, with kind of a lot of new money arriving in the scene. So although it's been kind of pretty devastating for some, actually it wasn't necessarily something that wasn't going to be predicted, as things always tend to kind of level out. And that's what we've seen as we've taken the dip to be moving back towards the upside again. Okay, so Goldman Sachs have said there's going to be a high chance that Ethereum will eclipse Bitcoin, with Bitcoin losing over 50% of its value since its all-time high of nearly 65% per Bitcoin in April. Meanwhile, Ethereum is down by more than half after climbing to $4,000 per token earlier this month. Now, these sort of stories, like a leaked report or whatever, notice how that kind of coincides quite nicely with the kind of lowest point in the market. So, in terms of a lot of this news we've been having recently about market manipulation, etc., like banning crypto in China. Crypto's been banned in China for quite a long time. Okay, so all of this news that was brought in isn't necessarily anything new. It all just arrived at the same time to kind of drag the market prices down. And now, lo and behold, someone's left a report out on the desk somewhere or whatever it is. And then we're going to start seeing kind of more and more positive news flood into the market. And then we'll see that push up. Okay, so always be aware that, once we've got all these big players into the game, as we have now, it seems very exciting, but actually then we kind of let ourselves in for all this extra market manipulation, and it takes away the kind of control from the retailers, which is obviously us. But, it's still what makes it exciting and still what we need to be able to progress on. Now, a leaked report from Wall Street giant Goldman Sachs has given Ethereum the second largest cryptocurrency with a market capitalization of around $250 billion compared to Bitcoin's $660 billion, a high chance of overtaking Bitcoin as a dominant store of value, calling it the Amazon of information. Okay, so as we know, as Ethereum holders, there's loads of good things about Ethereum, and these institutions have now kind of learned about it, and they're starting to understand the true value and the true potential of Ethereum, which is obviously very exciting for us. Okay, something else that is very cool as well, given that Elon Musk sold Bitcoin on the fact that Bitcoin was quite bad for the environment, obviously using a lot of energy to power mining machines, etc. There's news today that's saying this breakthrough could make Ethereum more environmentally friendly than Bitcoin. Okay, so there's news indicating that Ethereum will become something like 99% more efficient in the way that it's mined after the next upgrade, which is coming in July, which is obviously great news. This could be something that, potentially would get someone like Elon Musk buying into Ethereum, etc. Which, if you took it kind of personally, how he handled the Bitcoin situation, you might not be that happy about. But for sure, if he gets involved into something like Ethereum, as well as other people getting involved in Ethereum, we would likely see more of a price push to the upside. So as it's very interesting to see, as I've already mentioned, that all the positive news kind of comes at once, and then all the negative news comes at once. When we're kind of high and when we're low. So it's always interesting to see how the market is manipulating people, in my opinion. Okay, without further ado then, let's jump into this chart. So as you can see on the 4 hour, we've come all the way down, and we thought we had a huge crash down to the bottom. This was the original crash back on May 19th, so sort of 5 days ago. And around this point, we were a bit unsure. Many people were fairly unsure whether we were going to continue to go significantly lower or not, and we bounced pretty hard. But then we sort of got into this trend, and we could see this trend developing down this line here, and forming into a wedge. There was a number of things that kind of came together in confluence that sort of gave me the indication that this was probably going to be a good turning point. Okay, so obviously we've got all that positive news coming in, which is kind of timed quite nicely. We've got this this wedge, which you can see we had a breakout, and if I was to drop it back to the hour, you would see that it came back and retested before moving the upside, currently priced at around 2,370. And then slightly further out, we've been in this white channel for quite a long time, something like since the beginning of January, back around the 3rd of January. And we broke all the way out, and then we saw that huge surge to the top. We came back down, retested before dropping all the way down, and although we did break through, we actually tested and held there. So the last time we came and tested this channel was back on the 25th of March, and that took us from $1,560, eventually ending up on the 13th of May, about a month and a half later, at 4,344. Okay, so the potential from here is that we could see, and we will likely see, in my opinion, a bigger push to the upside. This could be potentially the final huge rally that we have all been waiting for. But we'll wait and see as things develop, because nothing is certain until it shows us the information. So another thing I wanted to show you. So if we take a Fibonacci retracement and we put it from the beginning of sort of the large or the bull run, basically, and we drop it to the top of that peak there, and then we come in, we can see that we've actually been playing off this quite nicely today as well. We did drop through the 618, which is this kind of green line here, and this is where up at this next line is where I think we will likely see our next significant resistance. Obviously this area around here in the past we saw hit here for resistance, and again we turned it into support there. Here again we found it's good levels of support, eventually broke through, created resistance, and that's where I expect to see again, where we will probably find some resistance around this level. So it'll be interesting to see what happens there. But obviously in terms of our breakout target for this pattern here, then we're looking back towards this level at around the $3,000 mark. And obviously, although $3,000 didn't provide a huge amount of resistance previously, $3,000 is a potential level where people will be looking to sell, given that it's a nice round number, etc. So be careful of that. And obviously it's in line 0.382 level around here. Now, as you can see, because we've been kind of trending all the way down, what we might see is for it to come up to either this line or this line, perhaps take a bit of a drop down. And what we would like to see then is for it to put in a higher low. Okay, so as you can see, this was a low, and then we had a lower low. Okay, so until the kind of trend, as we have seen that it has broken out of this trend here, or sorry, as you can see, we have broken out of this pattern here. We would like to see it start to put in higher lows, because obviously it's not going to go up in a direct straight line, because nothing ever really does that. So jumping over to the Ethereum Bitcoin chart, you can see something very similar has happened. But as I pointed out the other day on another video, we did actually have a fall here, and we sort of called the breakout, but then as you can see, it was rejected. And here we have a very similar pattern where we can even perhaps take this line, and then we can see a similar breakout kind of going on here, although so far it hasn't necessarily been rejected at the next level. So despite the fact we can read charts and we can see what's happening next, there's obviously a few indicators, etc., that can help us with things. There's obviously no guarantee that things are going to go exactly where we want them to go. But, given the positive turnaround in the market, given that people will be starting to gain confidence again, the FOMO will probably start to kick in for a lot of people as they can see these prices coming up. People who maybe sold at the bottom and probably kicking themselves and now coming back to sort of, make up for that and maybe start to look at buying more and getting into the game again. So, as you know, we've seen in the past, it's basically a game of emotions as the cycle kind of goes through, and it's no different this time, and we'll see probably the same huge rise to the upside followed by some sort of bad news or something that's going to probably drag us all the way back down again at some point. Until that happens, stay safe, always be doing your own research. Trading is risky, you can always lose up to 100% of your investment, so make sure you take care with your money, guys. Thanks very much for watching. If you enjoyed today's channel, please hit that like and subscribe button to be kept up to date with all of the latest happening in Ethereum as well as the rest of the cryptocurrency market. Thanks very much for watching, and I'll see you again tomorrow. Bye bye.